How do you protect yourself from the punishment of the grave? So a good question. So I'll mention three aspects. Number one is the Prophet ﷺ himself used to make dua from the punishment of the grave, seeking refuge from the punishment of the grave. The hadith collected by Imam Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ used to say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min adhabil qabr. He said, oh Allah, I seek refuge, from the punishment of the grave. So this is a dua we should learn if we don't know, and try and say this, whether you want to say it, for example, after your salah, or when you're raising your hands and making dua, whatever it is, that you should try and make this dua. Number two, the Prophet ﷺ will mention in a hadith which is collected by Tirmidhi that there is a surah that has 30 verses that will protect or come as an intercessor for an individual in the grave. And that surah, as the scholars mention, is Surah Mulk. Also, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, one of the famous companions, he mentioned that the companions, the Sahaba, they used to call Surah Mulk Al-Mani'a. Al-Mani'a meaning the protector, if you like. Because as he mentions that if you recite it, and he specifically mentions reciting it at night time before you go to sleep, then it will protect you from the punishment of the grave. The third thing is also that the Prophet ﷺ also mentioned that what happens is when an individual is in the grave, that their prayer, their salah will come on top of their head, or the top of their head. Their fasting will come to the right of them. Their zakat will come to the left of them. And their extra deeds in terms of keeping ties of kinship, helping others, will come at their feet and below them. And so when the punishment tries to come and attack an individual, all of these things, these deeds the person did, will defend that person. So that's why it's always good that the scholars mention we should always try and increase in those specific aspects. So increase maybe in our fasting, increase in our salah, pray your nafil prayers, pray your sunnah prayers, increase in your sadaqah, increase in helping others, and this will also protect you, inshallah, from the punishment of the grave.